morning, Your Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo. Good morning, Your Excellency, former President of Mozambique, Chissano. Also, my own Excellency from the African Union Commission, His Excellency Wamkele Mene. All protocols observed. Gabby has put me on the spot. I was not scheduled to make any presentation, but this is such an important event. I took him up on his offer for me to make some brief remarks on behalf of President Adesina. First of all, Gabby, congratulations on this dialogue. We have Davos to talk about world issues, and now we have the Africa Prosperity Dialogue to talk about our own Pan-African issues. And your theme for this year, which is produce, add value, trade, is so important and is actually the thrust of the African Development Bank's strategy in the private sector. Let me just expand on this a little bit. I have been investing in Africa and globally for the last 25 years. The game changer for us as investors and also for the African private sector is the African Continental Free Trade Area. So that's why I would take His Excellency Wamkele's calls at any time of the day or even in the evening, because it's such an important framework. Investing in private sector in one of 54 markets is actually highly risky. But investing in private sector, especially what we call African champions, who have the ability to work cross-border, begins to really de-risk projects and add value to Africa. So for us, we focus on the African champions. African champions are companies that really work cross-border. We want, as an institution, working with the likes of the CFTA Secretariat, working with the likes of the Prosperity Dialogue, working with other parties to create the enabling environment for African private sector to truly trade beyond borders. For us, we've prioritized where we see Africa as being competitive. In the agriculture processing space, that is key, because even with smallholder farming, we're able to produce relatively competitively, but we can even improve the efficiencies, especially if we use technology. So agro-processing is very key. Likewise, the cotton belt is mostly in Africa. So cotton to textiles, to garments it's also a very key area for us. We have the critical minerals, lithium in northern Ghana, lithium in Zambia, and Zambia and the DRC. We have great industrial capacity in South Africa and in Egypt. Let's establish the regional value chains. We shouldn't look at things really on an import substitution basis. Let's look at the value chains across Africa. Then we also have what we call the fourth industrial revolution, technology, digitization, the ability to actually leapfrog the current production efficiencies that we have. And then lastly, we all learned from COVID that Africa is really at the bottom of the value chain when it comes to pharmaceutical drugs, vaccines, etc. For us, these are the value chains we've prioritized, and this is where we're going to look to scale up our support. And don't forget, a lot of SMEs occur in the corporate value chains, and we're going to support both corporates, we're going to support SMEs as well, because SMEs are really the greatest creators of jobs, and we estimate across Africa is 80 to 90%. Now, regional integration is not going to happen without all the enablers. And so, Your Excellency, thank you very much for really supporting us on the Lagos-Abidjan corridor and really supporting the decision for Alcoma to be based in Abidjan, which has now begun to expedite that process. If we can actually get the Lagos-Abidjan corridor working, the regional integration that would happen, the impact on businesses, because 80% of West Africa's GDP goes through that corridor. So we thank you for supporting these initiatives that would really lead to regional connectivity so we can really deliver a prosperous Africa. Africa's private sector, what we call the African champions, are the ones we're going to support. Thank you very much.